Hi everybody, I'm just coming on for today's read aloud. Hope everybody's doing well. So yesterday and the day before we had read alouds in the Clifford series of adventures. Think back about what our I will and we will statements were. So we will compare and contrast the adventures of characters in stories and texts. And our character we know is Clifford, and usually Emily Elizabeth, and the other characters are dispersed in and out of different stories. So that could be one way they are the same and one way they are different. The settings could change as well. So in the first story that we read, Clifford's family, Clifford went to visit his family out of town, his mom and his dad. It talked about being in the city in parts of it, and it also talked about going to a rural community where Clifford's dad was. So we know that settings can change in a story. And then on Clifford, when he visited Washington, D.C., so we know that that is a setting, that is a place. We're learning about that in social studies right now or very soon. So the setting changed a little bit in that story as well. Also, we can compare and contrast how Clifford acted and things that happened. So his adventures. So think about his adventures when he visited his family and his adventures when he went to Washington, D.C. and how those are similar and how those are different. And we can think about Clifford's behavior becoming almost predictable. So maybe you can look at the pictures, and we know that was our I will and we will also for this week, looking at pictures to determine what the illustrator is trying to convey in the story. And the book we're going to read today is Clifford's Good Deeds. And we're going to look at that title page and just see if we can figure out what the author is trying to convey. We see a picture of Clifford. It looks like he is catching something. And we know what good deeds are. Good deeds are when you do something good for someone else. And we know that the Cub way is always to do good deeds, right? All right, Clifford's Good Deeds. Hello, I'm Emily Elizabeth, and this is my dog, Clifford. A boy named Tim lives across the street. One day, Tim said, I try to do a good deed every day. If I had Clifford, I could help a lot of people. I said, let's do some good deeds together. A man was raking leaves. Tim gave him a hand. Then we helped him put the leaves in his truck. I didn't know that dry leaves make Clifford sneeze. Achoo! The man said he didn't need any more help. We went down the street. We saw a lady painting her fence. We helped her paint. When we finished, she thanked us. Clifford felt so happy that he wagged his tail. That was a mistake. White paint splattered all over her house. We said we would paint the rest of the house too. The lady said, never mind. Then we saw an old lady try to get her kitten down from a tree. Tim said, Clifford, get the kitty. Clifford bent the limb down so the lady could reach her kitten. But his paw slipped. What do you think is going to happen next? Clifford moves pretty fast for a big dog. The lady was glad to get her kitten back. It didn't take us long to find our next good deed to do. somebody had let the air out of the tires of a car. The man asked if we could help him. Tim took a rubber tube out of the car and stuck it in the tire valve. Then he told Clifford to blow air through the tube. Clifford blew, but he blew a little too hard. The man felt better when he took his car to the garage. We saw a small paper boy. He was so small that he couldn't throw the newspapers on the doorstep. Clifford gave him a hand. A paw. Clifford was a little too strong. Nothing seemed to go right for us. Our good deeds were turning out all wrong. Then we saw a terrible thing. A man was hurt and lying in the street. Nobody was helping him. Tim said, "You should never move an injured person." Clifford didn't hear him. He picked the man up. We started off to find a doctor. Oh dear. We helped the men get their cable back down from the manhole. Tim said, "Clifford, maybe you shouldn't help me anymore." Clifford felt very sad. He had tried so hard to do the right things. We headed for home. Suddenly we heard someone shouting, "Help! Fire!" The house on the corner was on fire. Tim ran to the alarm box to call the fire department. Clifford ran to the burning house. There were 2 little kids upstairs. With Clifford's help, we got them out to safety. Luckily, there was a swimming pool in the yard. Clifford put out the fire just as the firemen were arriving. The firemen finished the job and thanked us for the help. That afternoon, the mayor gave us each a medal for our good deeds. A mayor is an important person in a city who is the leader of the city. So, like, the teacher is the leader in your classroom and the principal is the leader of the school. A mayor is a leader in a city. And our mayor is, his name is Greg Fisher. Of course, Clifford got the biggest medal of all. All right, so I want you to think about, going back to those, that lesson frame, how this story compares to the other Clifford stories that we've read. How is it the same and how is it different? You can think about the characters, you can think about the setting, you can think about the adventures, especially because Clifford definitely has some similar adventures in his stories, and then there are some things about those adventures that are different. So think about that, make a video, draw a picture, write it out for us. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Have a great day. Bye.